Tell Shannon when he needs to talk, come up to your table because they have mics right there. When it's your turn to talk, when it's your turn to talk, stand in front of the mic. I don't want to stand. On your turn. Okay. What screen?
This kid, I'm at a high school that year.
Yeah, her husband used to work for us.
Yeah.
Oh, he went sell cars or something like that. Yeah, he got out of education. Yep, yep. I'm gonna be out like Lee Meyer today. You know how it when Sugar used to cook or Sugar wanted him home, he wanted it to be a quick meal. That's all for the day. I'm ready to go. I'm right there with you. I'm ready to go.
That's finally getting up.
I forgot to remind Damien. I'm glad he came.
There you go.
How you doing? How you doing?
I can't complain.
I still do though. We
Is John making it tonight or not sure?
Huh?
Is John making it tonight?
What?
What
I don't know. I think he might
We're
have.
gonna start calling him something else.
Yeah.
It ain't no word.
I think he got meeting at his over there.
Call him JB.
Yeah, that's what I call it.
That's it. Of course, John back too.
Oh Lord, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I'm in the post deal. I gave him his medicine, so you should have to go. I told him to.
That you sign.
But from what I'm hearing, it's not the boss. She's not doing the money. So hopefully, my car. Even told me this morning before it happened, he said, I rode that thing for 3 hours today. He said, nothing happened. But he said, if the lift or something is not shut tight, it will shut the engine off. And keep it off, he said, for 20 minutes. But I was like, get it out. If she can't work that lift, I want you to work. Activate well. Oh, because they even came to me this morning. He's like, look, I drove the thing up and down the parish for 3 hours. Never had no problem. And I said, but I said, wait, someone told me yesterday that a new one was going back there. So why
She had, huh? You know, she had this morning.
He said a spare, but I don't know.
Tell her. I don't know why you're paying for it, but it's okay.
Well, I, you know, I'm not just, he was like, I said, well, but he said something about, you gotta have one with a wheelchair.
Let's do
With a
it.
wheelchair. So there's none nowhere to replace it with. I said it'll be about 3 weeks. I said, well, he gotta find another thing. But we change hands.
Yeah, it's fine.
No, it's not fine. 3 damn days.
3 out of 5, it's not bad.
Oh, what's her name?
Yeah. No, I just told I needed. air, when y'all speaking, you're gonna have to speak loud.
I'll try.
Yes, ma'am.
Josh is saying because of the air running, when we speak, we're gonna have to speak louder because of the air. We have lights right here.
In the street, This could be done online. This could be done online.
Just fill it in, and then I'm gonna go in and put y'all information online for y'all.
Oh, okay. Read for me.
Sir. Everybody there was, you my school teachers that were wanting to stay with the
Yeah,
hybrid.
yeah. I got about three or four emails that they want to.
Well, I think they like the small classes.
Well, yeah, but like up there in preschool that they mentioned, dude, I went to all the schools. They got almost full classes. Now,
Yeah.
Now the schools like up there in Delaware area that just got
Hey, baby, how you
smaller
doing?
classes.
We missed you the other day.
Yeah.
They
told me about it.
48 of them kids come back
Mhm.
and work on the same every day.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wrong some years.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
I don't think they realize that some of those we're gonna stick with it on most of them.
She just told me it wasn't available.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because she is not there. I think she might be on vacation, so I don't know if they.
The meeting will come to order. We'll start with the roll call of members by the superintendent, well, by Ms. Melissa.
Ms. Barra,
Here.
Mr. Beck,
Here.
Ms. Dugas. Here. Ms. Fletcher Mickens, Mr. Lewis,
Here.
Mr. Marr,
Here.
Ms. Urso,
Here.
Mr. Robertson,
For the badge on me.
Washington.
Here.
Next, we'll have the reading of the the reading of the school board prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Vice President John Beck. Loving and gracious God, you are indeed the giver of all good gifts, and we thank you for our successful outcomes. We ask that you bless all of our employees abundantly as we continue to seek your wisdom, guidance, courage, and strength. Be with us in our deliberations and help us to be wise in the decisions we make for the good of all those who have placed their trust and confidence in our leadership. Give us insight to lead with integrity, that our decisions may reflect what is right and good. Keep us from short-sightedness and pettiness. Help us to make decisions that are for the good of all and guard us from blind self-interest. Dear Lord, grant us the humility to always seek your will in all that we do and say. All glory to you, loving God, now and always, through Christ our Lord. Amen.
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 Pledge allegiance
To the flag
Of
the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. Let's read. Oh.
I need a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
By Ms. Urso.
Second.
Second by Ms. Dugas. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The consent agenda, approved minutes of August 4th, 2020 special school board meeting. Approved minutes of August 5th, 2020 school board meeting.
I shall move. Second.
Moved by Mr. Beck, second by Mr. Washington. All in favor? Any opposed? Next, under reports and recognition, receive administrative personnel report. That's in our packet.
Yes, the reports for the administrative personnel changes are in your packet for your review.
Next, policy and procedure, approved new policy JAAA, Title IX, sexual harassment.
So move.
Moved by
Second.
Mr. Lewis. Second by Ms. Urso. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Get this one, Rick.
Next, approve revisions to policy JCEA, sexually related student misconduct.
So move.
Moved by Mr. Robertson,
Second.
second by Mr. Washington. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, approve revisions to policy GAAA, equal opportunity employment.
So move.
Moved by Mr. Lewis,
Second.
second by Mr. Beck. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Approve revisions to policy GAE, non-title 9, complaints and grievances. Moved by Ms. Urso, second by Ms. Dugas. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? E, approve revisions to policy GAEAA, Title 7, employee sexual misconduct. I'm sorry, sexual harassment.
So
So
move.
move.
Moved by Mr. Washington, second by Mr. Lewis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? F, approve revisions to policy GAMC, investigations.
So move.
Moved by Mr. Beck, second by Ms. Urso. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? G, receive information on revisions to policy II testing program.
We have Mr. Claymore here with us this evening to give us the updates on this policy.
Good evening, everyone. This policy came out actually in last year, but since they canceled testing and COVID hit, we kind of delayed it. I did have our data testing coordinator look over the policy and the changes. Her response as she looked over and says, it's stuff we do and it's minimal changes. I think a lot of it had to do with the verbiage of discrepancies inside the test. So as you read through them and the changes that you're going to see has to do with how the district handles the discrepancies and the security of the material. Again, that's just minor changes of reporting system is what she handles. So really that the last time this policy has been changed, and that's what I was looking at, I want to say was in 08. So, you know, I think the State Department just re-upped the manual itself in the with the thing. So Forethought wrote a new policy. With that said and done with, though, since we didn't have testing, we thought it would be best just to delay it and get through all of the I guess call it the chaos. And since we've slowed down and we probably are going to go back into testing, hopefully, we need to approve some of the changes that they have stated. So again, it's minimal changes, stuff we already do, and the added verbiage is in blue for you to do that. So if you have any questions, please send me an email. I'll be glad to make sure that we answer them and I'll get those responses back to you. Okay?
Thank you. Next, receive information on new job description, staff secretary, child nutrition.
Mr. Claymore is going to give updates on the next two, both job descriptions.
Okay, and then I is receive information on revisions of bus operator job description.
I do have one of the two. We did ask transportation to kind of come. I'll explain I after, but I do have Ms. Woods here. This would be a new job description, just so you knew, just like the request last time, which from staff secretary with the HR director. Well, again, Ms. Woods' staff secretary doesn't do what my staff secretary does. So I'm gonna let her explain the changes. So Misty, you want to come in?
It's
basically very similar to what Shannon did for his HR secretary. We do a lot of things in child nutrition that no other secretaries do, such as meal application, claims for reimbursement, things like that. So what I did was I took the daily, weekly, monthly job duties that she does on a, on those bases and added it to her job description. That way, when it comes time for evaluation, we're actually, evaluating her what she actually does. Any questions?
Thank you.
And as you notice, it was only 11. I actually kept the old staff secretary job description for you that has 11 items. We struck through all 11 items and created a new job description in blue that's timeline for her secretary, which I think is a fair way to evaluate her secretary. The second one, which is in transportation, transportation supervisor did ask to revise the bus operator thing. We sent it over to him. It is my understanding, and if you need clarification after this, please send Mr. Preston an email directly. He'll answer it for you. That what they were trying to do is add, there's some verbiage from the contract that a bus driver signed in the beginning of every year off of their contract that he wanted to put into the job description. And the blue is what was missing that is now added into the job description. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Claymont. Next, approved contract with Teaching Strategies.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Lewis, second by Mr. Meyer. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? B, approved revision of coaching contracts.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Orso,
Second.
second by Mr. Beck. All in favor?
Question.
I have a question. Ms. Sonia, have the coaches been instructed as to what's going to be happening?
Okay, so for those who can't hear, she asked, have the coaches had any communication, if we had communication with the coaches regarding the changes? And actually, before we even did any revisions, we did talk to the principal and the athletic director here. The main purpose of the changes that we're bringing before you, if y'all remember, the board had changed a couple of years ago to pay coaches, exclude practices, conditioning, and all of that out of coaches' payment. It went from first game to last game. And right now with LHSAA prohibiting practices and meets, but they are allowing conditioning, weightlifting, and practices, we want to be able to compensate those people for the time that they're putting in. So if we did from first game to last game and there's no football game or no volleyball game, then they would not be entitled to any payment. So we are putting back in the preseason practice and conditioning so that they can receive payment. The thing about the fall sports, because we don't know when games will begin, but they are being allowed to practice now. The fall sports coaches will receive their stipend over the full 9-month period. We brought that to the athletic director and the principal, asked them to have their meeting with their coaches, and they were all in agreement with it. Am I correct, Ms. Thibodeau? Okay, they were all in agreement with it, and so that's why we're bringing the changes before you tonight.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, receive July 2020 sales and use tax report.
For the month of July, we processed a total of 2,563 returns. The total receipts was $1,050,792. That was a 3% increase. The school board received $521,969.97. The 92 bond fund received $104,394.95. The delinquent rate for the month was 8%. We did not have any audit revenues, and the auto sales was $265,707.72.
It's a pretty good one, huh?
It was.
Yeah.
That's great.
Great way to start off this new year. Let's see if new fiscal year, we might be starting a new trend.
Okay. Before we adjourn, I just wanted to make sure all of my fellow board members got their email last night that I sent.
All right.
Okay. And if you have any questions about anything, please call. Feel free to call.
I have a question, not related to that, but before we adjourn.
Okay.
And I would like to make a comment.
Based on our last conversation about the maintenance and the grass cutting,
have we had any other updates? Is that we could expect better service or more timely
Well, we
service?
did, actually, I had a conversation with our maintenance supervisor about that today, and he have assured me that he spoke to the contractor and we should receive better services. Actually, the actual contract was forwarded to our legal attorney here today so that we can try and make provisions to mandate better services, so that we are still in the processes of improving those services. We have made it known that we were not satisfied with what we saw for 2 weeks in a row, and we need better service. If they're, being that it is a service, if we're not continually being satisfied, we're going to talk to legal counsel to say in the future what options we have.
Another thing that I know we all received emails and an email was sent out, but for those that didn't see that, perhaps as we all received possibly some communication from concerned teachers about how we would operate the hybrid or have enrollment, full enrollment, and after going through the schools, if you would explain to the
That was going to
public-
be my comment.
Okay. If you would explain where we are and the reason for it, I think that would be helpful.
Okay, so that was going to be the comment that I had before we adjourned.
Can I say something real quick on that? The contract that you're referring to is going to be up for renewal. The contract you're referring
He's
to
back on the grass cut.
will be up for renewal in December. So you'll be receiving a new contract to approve to go out for bid for January, because remember, the grass cut is in January.
Right.
But we're going to be revising that contract to hopefully prevent what happens, and this is not the first time, it happens usually all the time during this time during the rainy season. So we can create some more flexibility and more cuts inside of that service. So we're going to work with Dwayne. We're going to ask Mike to look over the verbiage and also get it out and get y'all approval for the new contract that'll go out in January.
Do you have a track record, how many times they were late or something? In other words, as we move toward adopting another contract or as we open it up, it might be good to see where the deficiency were or the strengths, and that way we can compare moving forward that here's the issues, what dates, and providing, that information so that.
Yeah, well, you're going to see the changes in the contract. The current contract has, because think about it, we're in August. It could rain for 5, 6, 7 days straight.
And that's
so if that grass cutter misses a cut, he should be allowed to maybe come back and cut twice the following week to try to offset the other cut. But the way it's currently written in the verbiage kind of doesn't allow him that flexibility. So we're going to be creating that flexibility and that increase in cuts inside the new verbiage. So that doesn't happen.
All right. Okay, so regarding the hybrid plan and our completion of our soft start, we did send out an email today to all employees. Originally, when we set up the soft start to the beginning of the school year, it was set to end Friday, August 21st. After visiting all the schools several times, yesterday, Ms. Cindy Blanchard and myself called each principal individually to get their opinions, their thoughts, their feelings on what they wanted to do for the next couple of weeks. Also included in that conversation, I did include our incoming superintendent because I didn't want us to make a decision that he'll have to inherit. And he gave us some ideas and some questions to ask our principals when making that decision. Again, each principal told us what concerns they had. We had some concerns with kids not being able to complete diagnostics. We had some concerns with certain kids in a class where principals, the number of kids in a class where principals are going to have to make some adjustments there. There are some concerns about transitionings and children eating. So overflow rooms, other areas where children will be able to eat. Because of the numbers in those schools, 3 schools where the concerns are, we are giving them another week to remain on hybrid to keep half of their population so they can work out those logistical concerns. And then by that following week, we should be ready, except the high school, because of the number at the high school, they'll remain on hybrid. But by August 31st, the other 3 schools that we've extended it for that week should be ready to bring our kids back on campus on the 31st. Every principal, we had a meeting, principals meeting Monday morning, and again this morning, they were in agreement and they felt like that was a fair compromise. I sent out an email today. I got lots of feedback from teachers thanking you or thanking us as a district for allowing their students to come back. They're ready to get their kids back in their classes and provide valuable instruction. So a lot of positivity being spread when we walk through the schools, both from the students and the staff. That I think we had a very, very positive, strong start here in Assumption for opening our schools.
And I would like to comment that as we had our opening, one of the things that was most rewarding and complimentary to our entire district is that if you didn't see it, you missed a great opportunity. Channel 2 came by and did a remote on our students coming, great interviews. And the reason they came was because they have been following us through our agendas and found that we were very prepared, unlike many other schools. And it just showed tribute, and certainly we want to compliment our entire staff, our leadership, administration, and this board. As our motto is, we're all in, and it has been showing. And this latest agenda item shows that we have some flexibility and make changes as we need to. And there are going to be more changes that may be necessary, but as we've asked is that be patient, be safe, and know that the priority of our system is safety. So again, compliments to our entire district and all the people that make it special. We do a lot with the little, and that has been exemplified.
I would just like to piggyback on what Mr. Beck said. We touched down on all the campuses over the last 2 weeks. We showed Mr. Bartholomew around throughout the entire district. Everyone was pretty much on board. They were well received. We were well welcomed. I was impressed the way when we got to the schools, they took our temperature. In fact, the primary school in Labadeville, they took our temperatures twice because we went in at the bus entrance. So they checked us with the students that was getting off the bus, and we got inside while moving around. They checked us out again. So that was good, signed our names and everything. And I was impressed with the way the schools were clean, and you could tell everybody was pretty much on board when we got in the school systems. I made it a point specifically to talk to the janitors, the custodians, because those were the people who, during our meet and greet, when we came in to initially recognize all the teachers, but somehow or another, out of sight, out of mind, John will tell you, you kind of overlooked them. While in the gym right here, me and Mr. Beck was waiting to attend a last session with Ms. Thibodeau and her staff, and we ran into 3 of the janitors in this building right here, and they kind of asked us, why don't y'all never meet with us? Well, I kind of feel bad because again, like I said, we met with all the teachers, the paras. Mr. Sean Preston, he was meeting with the bus drivers. Ms. Wood was meeting with the custodian, the cafeteria works across the street, across the hall rather, and nobody talked to the janitors. So I made it a point from that day on, and I think this might have been the first school, if I'm not mistaken. Well, from that day on, I specifically made it a point that I recognize all of the custodians. Ms. Cooney, you probably remember what I said in the pair of schools, and they got a warm welcome. So, going forward, guys, let's not try to do that. And I never try to demean anyone because of where they at in our level of responsibility in the school system, and we should never do that. And I'm not saying we did it, intentionally. I know I didn't do it, you didn't do it. But, again, you say, what, out of sight, out of mind. So, that kind of made me feel bad. And today, even today, it sticks with me. And that's why I want to address it in front of our public body here. And when we got into the Pierpont schools, I specifically asked Anya to kind of like make sure that we ran in the Pierpont area around lunchtime. So, Ms. Kuhn, I want to thank you again in public. Y'all did a fantastic job. The area was beautiful, and I got to see where what my old friend, a guy who I got to meet, Mr. Troy Lander, I got to see where he lived. And thank you very much. And the food was excellent. Thank you all very much. And we had a good time. And thank you to the staff, the faculty of Assumption Parish Schools. You did a fine job of getting the schools back open. And I think right now, the main thing is a lot of parents want to see is how safe the schools are going in. And I was inundated with calls like I'm sure many of you are regarding about the schools and all that. And I have my grandkids, they're in the public school. And I think they're pretty safe. I'm confident that if it was Valencia or Honorary Junior, I would have them in these schools. So again, thank you all. Thank the staff, faculty, all the central office folks who put together the Strong Start program, and it paid off like Mr. Beck said. Channel 2 was out here at 5 o'clock. Well, that was too early for me, so I was able to make it for 7, but not 5. Again, thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. If there's no further business, I need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Moved by Ms. Dugas, second by Mr. Marr. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Back, I think, yeah, my, Kirby came.